Hello and welcome to this Eyes of Harmony podcast. We've done it week 5. We're doing good. It's still lockdown though, so we'll see what happens after lockdown.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the true test.
I'm very happy 5 weeks in a row. So on this podcast, we speak about anything and everything Doctor Who, Big Finish, TV,
And
classic,
occasionally tangent off into other topics as well, but
and wherever the wind takes us.
yeah, indeed.
Strange times. But yeah, like current news and whatever. So below in the description there'll be kind of jump points to kind of the topics that we talk about in this week's episode. So feel free to jump around and do whatever you like a good old time traveler that we all love. For this week's topic, I kind of thought I've got this calendar at the minute, which kind of has kind of a picture a day, though the weekends are 2 days, and on like the weekends they kind of have the doctors and a quote. Now I'm not sure what this quote, the third Doctor, it says now listen to me, that defining quote. Do you remember that?
Now listen here, you.
Listen here. That was such a defining moment, wasn't it? Of the third. I don't even know. Does he say? I think he says that so many times. Like it's not really definitive.
Probably.
Now listen to me. I can hear him saying it, but I can't be like, yes.
He said that in this episode at this minute in particular.
Yeah, 18 minutes in the Daemons, episode 4. That's when he said it. Classic, but yeah. So it got me thinking, like, well, Jesus Christ. I hope there's more defining moments out there. So, and of course there are. So this week we're going to kind of discuss off the top of our heads, not pre-planned or anything. Haven't really thought out like what our kind of instant kind of thoughts are to like each Doctor's defining moment. So, guess we'll just okay. So we can either go backwards, 13 all the way to the first, or first to 13. Which way do you want to go?
Probably first 13th, I guess. Just
let's keep it chronological.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Back in time to 1963 to 66. I know. Okay. Do you have a definitive memory?
I mean, for me, it's pretty easy in terms of defining moments. Would be the end of Dalek's invasion of Earth. I think that's the obvious pick in this case.
That is a very I mean, it's a really strong moment, isn't it? And it's very different. Like even the way it's shot is so different to like. It stands out, like just even cinematically, and it's like with the easing in camera really slowly throughout this kind of one take, and it just feels very like filmic, not like TV.
Yeah, it does.
It's so different, and I think that's what really helps it like stand out. And I mean, it became more defined. Like they used it at the start of the 5 Doctors, didn't they?
Yes.
As like a respect to William Hartnell as an actor. I'm surprised they didn't use it in the 50th. I thought maybe.
Yeah, but maybe they couldn't use it for multiple versions. But they didn't. Yeah, they didn't really. I mean, they had somebody imitating William Hartnell's voice briefly.
Yeah, which was nice that they had that in the 50th. But yeah, it is such a defining moment. I think enough are kind of strangely it's same story, but it's when he's like, in the Dalek invasion of Earth, where it's like, we need to stay and we need to fight. That's the first time the Doctor's been about staying in the location, not just about like yeeting out of there, just escaping back to the TARDIS as the stories all had been up to that point, which is kind of crazy to think that really all the way from like the whole first season and the first episode of season 2 are just them ending up in situations being like, fuck, better get back to the TARDIS.
Wait, we're in the French Revolution. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, it's never about like they always just get split up pretty quickly. They go around wandering a bit, get split up, and they're like, crap, gotta either find each other first, and then it's like Keys and Marinus. They get like blackmailed into going on this adventure, which I really do like. Keys and Marinus, actually, I don't know, weird split. I know there's a small kind of bias that one of the episodes aired on my birthday all those years ago. I think it's episode 3 or something. It's like one of the only episodes that ever aired on my birthday. I think Planet of the Dead, which was the David Tennant one, aired on my birthday. But yeah, Maybe there's one other.
I never bothered to look up for mine. So.
Oh, I was really interested about like what
Mm.
aired on my birthday when I was younger, and that one just always stuck with me. Maybe it's episode 1, and that's why I remember it because on the back of a VHS, because I got the VHS, it was a double VHS for some reason, which were 3 episodes on each. But yeah, I just remember it was like, yes, my birthday, yes, first series. This guy who didn't exist yet. Was she even born yet? No, she was born in '66, so even my mum didn't exist. So,
Oh.
oh wow, yeah, Ooh, crazy. But I don't know. I'm thinking another kind of defining moment is um, like Unearthly Child, really,
Yeah.
when he picks up the rock and is like, "I'm gonna kill this bitch," is slowing us down. And Ian stops him. And it's so interesting that they started off with the Doctor being like that.
Mm.
I think it would be unheard of to do that like these days. It was a very kind of brave decision to go.
It's interesting, particularly in the original pilot. He was quite nasty. They softened him a bit in the actual like broadcast version of the Unearthly Child, but like yeah, they really did want to go that angle at least to begin with before kind of you know.
He's really sharp,
Mm.
really. Um, yeah, I think. Oh, uh, love, pride, fear, hate. Do
Do
you
you
have a
not? Yeah,
watch?
from Tenth Planet.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Correct one, 10th planet.
Yeah, he has a
Um,
couple of nice moments in the Tenth Planet. I mean, I always, of course, think of it's far from being all over and such, but that's like kind of a short little like bit. It's just kind of the odd way he acts just before he regenerates. You know, it's
yeah,
like
it's kind of chilling, isn't it?
it
Like
is. Yeah.
just the way he walks up to the camera and the camera's kind of shaking. It's just like half his face.
Mm.
It's definitely that was completely bad staging, and he was supposed to stop a lot sooner or something because like the camera's like trying to track his face. Like, oh my, I can see the cameraman's face happening in that moment. Like, fuck.
Mm.
But yeah, like I love the Aztecs, but really that's more Ian's and Barbara's
Mm.
story.
He has a couple
Uh,
of nice bits in terms of like talking about not changing history and such.
oh yeah, you can't rewrite history, not one line. Classic.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, I think really the most definitive moment I would agree with you is the end where he says bye to Susan
Mm.
for sure in Unearthly Child. Unearthly Child, Dark Invasion of Earth. Banks out there. What a goof.
Go.
No.
I
You
actually
gotta
think,
what it good.
and just as an aside about, I don't think it's to be considered a defining moment, but just in terms of like William Hartnell's performances, he does keep generally relative. Well, I mean, of course, there's a transition in character, but I mean, he does kind of keep it consistent. One episode where he acts quite differently, I always found, was the Romans.
Oh yeah, that's the more
Like,
comedic, the
yeah,
weird sitcom.
yeah. No, but he actually
He did
really
it really
does
well
excel.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I like about that story is that they actually just chilled out in Rome for like a month or something. Like the TARDIS crashes at the end of the rescue, doesn't it? Like it's on the edge of a cliff and then it goes, "Woo," and then like the next episode picks up a month later. It's like, yeah, we've just been vibing in a Roman villa, and yeah, it's a strange story, but I do enjoy that
I
one
think I
quite a
think
lot.
it's underappreciated.
I think, do you know what a big issue I think with that story is? It's just the
Hmm.
name kind of is dull. It's a dull
Yeah.
name. And like in the box set, it's just the rescue, the Romans. It doesn't even have a name, does it? That box set, does it?
Yeah, I think it
It's
is just
literally
Rescue the
just
Romans.
the rescue,
Yeah.
the Romans, and they're just packaged together, and it's just dull. Two very dull names. Like they could
Mm.
have done something about the fire of, the Great Fire or something, and called it that. Like but just calling it the
Mm.
Romans, I think it does it. I generally think that a big issue of people kind of underappreciating it is it's a boring name.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Because actually one of the funniest stories I think in classic Doctor Who.
Oh,
Like,
it might be. It might be. I remember me and my mum watched it. And we were just fucking cackling. It was so stupid. And
hmm,
what was nice is because obviously Doctor Who had been quite serious. We serious stories, and they just had this sitcom with this perv of an emperor
hmm.
running after them. And I do need to watch it again. Actually, yeah, that's actually probably quite a good one to watch during these this isolation actually, which we forgot to mention a couple weeks ago. I think actually the Romans would be a good like light-hearted one to
Yeah,
watch. And it's very well made, and the sets are beautiful actually in that one.
they
It's
are.
a
Yeah.
made piece. All right, there we go. That's the first Doctor down. Second Doctor.
And again, the obvious one I think here would be the moment from Tomb of the Sideman with Victoria.
That is a very because it's nice. It just takes that little break, doesn't it, from the story. And it's talking about like his family and such. And that was nice that okay, so we knew he had a granddaughter, but like, did he have more kids? Like, and that was like the most lore up to that point that we got added on top. But the Doctor, did have family.
Well,
Maybe,
I guess Regeneration was first, but I mean,
yeah,
or Renewal, as it was
it's the
called.
first bit for a while, like the
Yeah.
whole series 4, I guess, without the Regeneration was part of series 4, which we forget.
Yeah.
But then start of series 5, it's like, okay, so he's got, he does think about his family, they're still alive, but he kind of doesn't think about them. It's very interesting, like that the Doctor kind of basically cut himself off completely from his family, because leaving the Time Lord, sure, that's easy to do if you don't like your species, like screw you guys. But leaving your family is a lot harder. And so what pushed him to get to that point to leave his family as well as, and that's why I always think there should be maybe a storyline with Susan or something, like why did he take her and no one else? Like I feel like Susan is more, there's more to Susan's character that you can do with it. Like she's got to be more important or something. Like was he protecting her from something? Why her and not the other? His own children. Why his like, yeah, I get like, grandparents have a very special connection with their grandkids, but does the Doctor not like his own children? Like why take away this specific grandchild? If the Doctor had multiple children, he's probably got multiple grandchildren. That's why I'm so interested. Is Susan actually his granddaughter? Were they just pretending?
I like to think she is, but
what happens if he's just a surrogate grandfather? Just adoptive. Like that doesn't take anything away from the emotions that they felt to each other. And I think it's something that they really, I feel, should explore. Like, and that's why, like, I'm kind of disappointed with the recent series, because I feel like maybe the Timeless Child would have been way better as Susan, as a connective thing, and that's why the Doctor, ran away from Gallifrey to protect this child, which had been experimented on. Like that's, I fit way more in character of the Doctor, and wouldn't change the show, wouldn't break any canon, I think, like kind of Timeless Child has in some ways. Not completely broken, but I think it would have upset less people, and still would have been a risk, though. I think a lot of people would have been more on board with Susan being something more, rather.
yeah. I always wondered how the Hand of Omega kind of tied into that too, because I mean that was established as something that William Hartnell's Doctor was doing when he was in that area. Like he was burying that, or preparing to. And it's like, well, how did that tie into it? How did he even get hold of that?
Exactly. Maybe, yeah, exactly. Like that's stuff which you can't, like, as I was saying in previous, you shouldn't go before the start of a book and go back and change stuff. Like I think like there's this start, because the start of the book really is Unearthly Child. That is where the book starts. If Doctor Who was a book, then we get little tidbits of what happened before the book. But you can't keep then being like, okay, well, actually, the real story starts here, and like that just I don't like that. It's just, to me, it feels like you're just going in and like stapling onto like the front page of a book a whole new transcript, being like, actually, all this stuff. And I don't know. I think like you should always be able to add more in the future rather than having to change the past to change.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I don't think there's a couple of things that could be told before, but yeah, I'd much rather see the story pushed
Nothing
forward
which
or
would
like
completely change characterization. No, that's the issue.
indeed. Although it's kind of interesting because there was I mean there was actually I don't know if it's still valid now, but Big Finish were offering this free episode of theirs, which was like a story set before an unearthly child with Susan. And I've actually downloaded it. I haven't listened to it yet, so I can't say much about it. But
Interesting if you yeah, let me know what you think. But
Hmm.
yeah, but back onto like yeah,
yeah,
obviously it's a very defining second Doctor moment. I'm trying to other ones is obviously like um there's creatures, you know, in this universe which
Hmm.
they must be fought. That is a very defining moment.
Indeed.
What episode does that happen in again? Is that War Games at the end?
Maybe.
No, isn't it Enemy of the
No.
World, actually? Enemy of the World. It's like in the corners of the universe. I'm pretty sure now it is Enemy of the World.
You
Because
should look it up because
he needs to
I'm
be
drawing a
convinced.
blank.
Because he needs to be convinced, doesn't he?
Hmm.
Um,
Just double check because
yeah, I will.
there's a pretty important one to get right.
I'm pretty sure because the one where he's more like, oh, those are the Daleks. They're
Yeah.
like that's the yeah. Man, let me check. Enemy of the World. Good old Wikipedia.
I could
uh,
just look up the quote.
I'm trying to. Corners of the Universe. Maybe it's not. Uh, Let me check if I can word search corners. Okay, I've got two. Apparently, there's two corners. There are some corners of the universe. Ah, the moon base. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are some corners of the
No
universe.
wonder I forgot it.
Yeah.
Well, forgot where it was set because the moon base is probably the most memorable of. It's all right. It's fine.
It's a good story. It's just too much retready of 10th Planet. I like the way that they're poisoning people and taking the ill. Like that is
Yeah.
really kind of like
In fact, there's like
sneaky.
kind of this Piper thing, and so it's just
The corners of the universe which have bred the most terrible things which act against everything we believe in, they must be fought. I think that's a pretty defining line as well.
agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely um probably Tomb of the Cybermen is the one, though a very interesting recent one which we kind of discovered was the faceless ones at the end, where he kind of just lets Ben and Polly go, and it's just kind of pretty emotionless to it. But I think it's because
I wouldn't say emotionless, just kind of more understanding that, oh, you have this opportunity.
I think like he's quite hurt by it though, and that's
Yeah.
why he's pretty like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you guys go. It was fun, I guess. It's like it's just kind of really awkward,
Yeah.
awkwardness to it. Okay, Third Doctor. I think I know which one you're gonna go with.
I mean, there's quite a few, to be honest. Like, if I think Third Doctor, it's difficult to pick one. I mean, the end of Silurians is pretty strong.
Yeah,
For
that
that.
was
Yeah, yeah, I knew that's what you'd think. I'd think. um, I don't know. I think. Hmm. Yeah, because like the Third Doctor in particular gets quite a few nice speeches and moments of, because of course they go for this more stronger like moral messaging in a lot of these things. So he does get a few more moments like that, I guess, that can be considered
Well, he just had a lot more stories as well. Like he
that
did it
too.
for 5 years, which was crazy, really. Like to think about, like all the actors before had only done three, so he must have really enjoyed the role to do it for as long as he did, and he only really left because Delgado kind of
Well,
as well.
there's a couple other things. I mean, I think the stories that was part of it, but yeah.
It definitely hit him hard.
It did, yeah.
Passing, poor guy. But yeah, I mean, the bit with like Omega speeches were very, very strong.
Mm.
But one of the most kind of strangely defining is the shoes. Where are my shoes? No, yeah, or in the shower
Or
when
the
it's
shower, yeah, that's.
defining. That is the pinnacle Third Doctor moment. You haven't experienced the Third Doctor if you haven't watched him shower. um, no, I think strangely enough, when I think about it, one that sticks out to me is pretty much when he's dying. Actually, um, at the end of Planet of the Spiders, it's not a great story. Actually, Planet of the Spiders is a bit like the whole of episode 3 is just a ludicrous chase scene.
Yeah.
Like that
Uh,
sky and sea is crazy.
something.
But like the end is like where he's like dying on the floor and he's like I had to face my fears. Um, that was a very defining, a tear Sarah Jane. Like don't cry. While there's life, there's and then just dies mid sentence, which I always think's quite powerful. Like I don't think it's used enough actually in film and stuff. People dying mid sentence because it's like unfinished, and I think that hits a lot harder than if someone manages to get their last sentence out because it's like it like if you I think it makes sometimes weirdly it makes death feel too happy ending as in well it finished it's closed, but I mean death comes at very strange and sporadic points. People can die quite instantly and it doesn't you don't feel like you get any closure. So I think sometimes if you want a death in something to be more hard hitting, it should be mid sentence because it feels there's like no closure to what they said, so they didn't get and it's an interesting story thing, and that's why I think like the Third Doctor's regeneration out of the first 3 hits me the most. Actually, I think it's because he just dies mid sentence.
Yeah, in terms of the emotional beat,
Wait,
yeah.
then the little short Time Lord guy turns up in his weird voice and his weird hat and is like, "Guys,
Yeah.
just needs a little push." I think it takes
Yeah.
completely away. He just speaks
Mm.
weird. I'm like, just let him regenerate by himself. He doesn't need the little push. Like it didn't make any. I don't know. To me, it made no sense that.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I think another bit. Well, there's a couple of actually which I thought of, and neither of these episodes are particularly too fond of. But like Doctor Master bit at the end of Claws of Axos, where they have to kind of where the Doctor tries to pretend to work together with the Master, and then kind of works around that. I thought was a pretty decently like memorable bit. And the other one was the disguise in the Green Death.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. When he's all dressed up in his the lady, the cleaner,
There was the cleaner, and there was
the milkman.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic. Those are great. Actually, well, the Green Death, the final shot,
Yeah, that too.
riding. He sneaks out at the end of a party, clearly, because the Third Doctor never shows much sadness. He always showed anger and stroppiness, and that he never really showed any sadness. Um, oh, there's that other bit where he's talking about they're like trapped in the jail cell, aren't they? It's him and Joe Grant. And they're trapped in that prison. And doesn't he tell a story of a vampire or something? I think.
Yeah,
That's.
yeah.
But it doesn't stick out as much. So I guess it's like I can't particularly remember what he said. Oh no, it's Oh yeah, no, no, no. Like it's like courage isn't. It's like courage isn't being brave. Courage is being scared and doing it anyway. Kind of like that's a way worse version of it. But that is actually those. No, actually, I'm gonna change my answer to that. Actually, those words I can't particularly remember like the episode. Maybe it's not a stronger episode, but maybe it's the Damons actually. But it's yeah, that one actually. that one resonates quite a lot with me. That quote
Mm.
about like, it's not about just being brave and doing stuff. It's about being scared and then doing it anyway. Like that is, and that really defines that. Okay, the Doctor's probably actually scared quite a lot of the time, yet he still does these things. And I think that's something that's never played in enough. Maybe in Doctor Who, Doctor's actually bloody terrified, but still does the right thing. And I think I don't know. I feel there's a lot more. I don't know. Characterization that can be done. I think Peter Capaldi got a couple of bits where he was like properly scared, like Heaven Sent, and it was more powerful. The Doctor was bloody scared, so we were scared. Like it's a powerful storytelling like thing. Like if the guy who's usually brave and like swanning about is actually fucking scared, then we're like, oh fuck, like this is shit, And it's like when David Tennant kind of was scared in Midnight and like not knowing what to do, suddenly becomes way more powerful. And I don't know. I think maybe actually they do it the right amount. Well, they did it the right amount at least in the Davies era, because you can't have him scared every episode.
No,
you lose then that impact. Like Doctor can't be scared in Unicorn and the Wasp because that's the happy.
I have a fear of wasps.
Oh, I actually do. That one, like, I was like, oh my god, that would be my worst nightmare. Like, fucking wasp. Jesus. Ooh. No, thank you. But I think the courage one actually. That one is at least in like out of all his words, that one actually I think was the most powerful for me.
Yeah.
All right, 7 years of Tom Baker.
Oof.
I don't even know where to start. I guess
Where do you start?
This one of Do I Have a Right, which is probably one of his.
Yeah, of course.
Which is crazy. It came in his first season. Do I Have a Right? Crazy good moment. And it's a good cliffhanger as well, isn't it? But
yeah. No, I mean, it was. I mean, we can get into that story more another time. But I think it was just kind of a perfect storm. Like the fact that they managed to rejuvenate Terry Nation the way they did after having done however many mediocre stories for years was just like, wow.
Yeah, crazy. And I mean, there's the Homo sapien speech in Ark in Space.
Yeah.
A fantastic moment.
I mean, I guess he could, except for probably Revenge, and maybe this not actually, probably for the first one, you could pick out like exceptional moments. I think you could get some stuff out of Robot too. Like, always a quote that kind of sticks out for me is, of course, what's the point of being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes?
Yeah, that is. It kind of like really the first series kind of defines the Fourth Doctor pretty much instantly, and it stays pretty consistent throughout all of it. I think his most defining moments really came far earlier on in his era.
Yeah.
I like actually in the Key to Time where he pretends to be mad in front of Romana. But I wouldn't really say that's defining. That's just him messing about, isn't he? It's just the Key to Time. I don't know. Like obviously there's his classic quips of "Would you like a jelly baby?" But I literally like I can't really think of many full-on speeches that he gives. Can you really?
I'm trying to think.
I think there's a good bit in the Pirate Planet. I think Key to Time. Talking to the leader, isn't he?
But yeah, I there's something, but I don't.
There's something.
What it was.
There was something at some point. Trust me on this one. I know what I'm talking about.
But I mean, yeah, it's difficult to get defining moments when it's just like, mean, there's so many nice little character moments that kind of builds rather than like having a lot of like big moments and like.
Yeah, the Fourth Doctor never really had any kind of grand-esque moments, did he?
It was constantly like kind of. I mean, the quirkiness and. I'm trying to think of more of the serious moments though.
I
Nothing.
mean, Pyramids of Mars, when he's
Yeah.
talking to Sutek, actually, that's a very good scene where he's kind of basically being tortured. That one's really powerful because he is losing big
Mm.
time. I guess maybe Morbius.
Yeah, that too. Would have some stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I think really.
And I guess, of course, the other ones would be like the end of Logopoplois and such.
Yeah, that is a good one. I mean, there's the opening speech, actually, like the weird narration for the Deadly Assassin.
Yeah, that too. Actually, yeah, Deadly Assassin. Like, there's quite a few moments in that, really, that could, considering it's mostly only him. Like, I guess you could say, kind of, you know, like as like that entire hunting sequence, you get to see so many varied emotions from him, like throughout that entire sequence.
I like the bit where the Doctor confesses when he's being tortured, actually, is like, all right, I confess, I confess. I confess you're a bigger idiot than I thought. Which, like, he had lots of, like, quips, like, funny one,
Did.
but never
Or the
really.
screaming of Harry Sullivan is an idiot in Revenge of the
Harry Sutherland
Cybermen.
is an imbecile.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much. But yeah, I think,
yeah,
like,
you can just put out like a million quotes, but
yeah,
it's
looking
like,
at all
yeah,
of these, it's all good, like,
let me do
one.
something stupid, like pushing another button. May I make an alternative suggestion?
It is pretty much. Oh, here we go. Pirate Planet. Um, no, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's just a liners,
Mm.
really. Um, like when he tells stories and stuff about people he's met, you know.
Mm.
Um, City of Death doesn't have a closing speech or something in there. I
Mm.
can't remember now. I just find it crazy that John Cleese was
Yeah, briefly, but he was in there, yeah.
got in there. But okay, Fifth Doctor. Then it's getting harder. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's bits in the case of Androzani I think the obvious kind of one to pick
Yeah,
out here.
I guess like pretty much the whole end bit where he's going to save Perry.
Yeah.
Gives her the last of the venom. Really, I think like really that last season minus Warriors of the Deep is the most interesting of seasons. Like, his first season was a bit finding its feet. Then the
Yeah.
second season they tried to do this greatest hits kind of thing for the 25th anniversary. Which just but it was weird. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to bring back old monsters and everything," but they bring back the Black Guardian for like 3 of the stories. I'm like, that's kind of cheating, isn't it? Like, you're gonna do classic monsters,
Yeah.
single story, then do lots of 4-parters with lots of classics, not just a really bad Silurian story, a villain from last series in Snake Dance, and then the Black Guardian from a couple series before. I'm like, where's the Cybermen? Like, though, to be fair, the Cybermen had happened just in the season prior.
Yeah, they've just been
But,
reintroduced.
like, there's
I
Auton.
mean, yeah, that's a defining Fifth Doctor moment.
Yeah, but not in a good way.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, I cannot. I just found it very weird, like, because I remember they were talking about doing greatest hits, and I look at the series, and I'm like, this is not greatest hits, especially when like the Black Guardian covered 3 of the stories, and he was barely in them anyway. It's like it's very false advertising, that is, I think. Yeah, because what they had, yeah. So Arc of Infinity, Omega. Oh no, yeah, fucking Warriors of the Deep was the final series, idiot. Yeah, Arc of Infinity was Omega, which is all right actually. Snake Dance, yeah, from the season before. Then Mordrin, Undead, Terminus, and Enlightenment. That's all Black Guardian, which is just a bit. I don't know. I felt like bring back Autons, do a Sontaran story. Like, if you're gonna do greatest hits, do greatest hits. Not. And I found it strange that the resurrection of the Daleks wasn't in that series either. You know, but I guess they did have a Dalek in the Five Doctors, but
Yeah, they had few in the Five Doctors, so I mean, I guess that kind of balances it all out.
but yeah.
What about destroying of the Sonic? It's like losing an old
That's
friend.
pretty defining. Also, when Adric dies, that's also another defining kind of
But
moment.
that was what I kind of was trying to point out earlier.
Yeah, yeah. He does have some very, I know. It's weird. The more I kind of watch the Fifth Doctor as I get older, the more I kind of, I don't know, vibe him more. Like younger, I never really kind of, I don't know, I never really got him. But like, the more I grow up, the more I kind of really enjoy Davison as the Doctor. Strangely, I don't know why. At a younger age, I didn't really. I don't know. I just maybe it reminds me.
He wasn't quite as like, I guess, big and bold as like a lot of the previous ones and the ones after.
Well, I think what was good with this Doctor is he struggled for authority like he never had before because he was so young. So people wouldn't listen to him a lot of the time. So he really had to prove himself. You know, in this new body that to listen to him basically, which I always thought that was quite that I quite like. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish there was enough a series of Peter Davison.
Yeah.
I think like he never fully got, and as he said in the past, if more series were like his final series, he maybe would have done another series of it. Because he really likes the final series, except obviously Warriors of the Deep. But like he really liked The Awakening, Frontios, Resurrection, Planet of Fire. He really liked those stories. And obviously Caves of Andromeda is absolute belter. So good, ridiculously good. I don't know for how they did it. Like fantastic television. It really is the defining moment, isn't it? Here's an interesting one: the Sixth Doctor.
Depends what you want to mean as defining.
That's a good.
He strangled Perry.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that bit. It really shows the dark side, the edgy side.
Yeah.
I really like obviously there's the bit where in the courtroom where he's, you know, like kind of basically saying like, oh, real power, that's where he's basically calling out the Time Lords for being dicks, basically. Yeah. It's like Cybermen, Sontarans, Daleks, they're all in the nursery compared to you. And yeah, I love Colin Baker as the Doctor. I really do. Like, I just listened to Jadoon in Chains, I think it's called, from the for Old Doctor's New Monsters, which Conrad got me for my birthday. Thank you very much, Conrad. What was it called? Fallen Angel is bloody good. That's the Fifth Doctor against the Weeping Angels, and I wish that had been made into a bloody episode. It's cracking. Like, it would have been great, like during the like specials year for David Tennant. If they put David Tennant in that role, it was a really cool story and really, really great. But yeah, like Colin Baker is just he's got such a bloody presence as a Doctor. It's just his voice is so like pompous and very loud, and I don't think we've ever like Tom Baker was very commanding, but he wasn't kind of pompous like the Sixth Doctor. Like the Sixth Doctor, just I know there's something about him which is just so different to the rest of the Doctors, which I don't know. I really like. I like when like the Doctors are completely different to whatever's come before, and that's why I guess like you know Matt Smith and kind of Jodie. Like Matt Smith, I warmed to a lot after time, but he was very kind of tendency to start with, and I wasn't like.
At least in terms of the writing, not in terms of how he acted it, but I think the scripts were very much written as if they were writing for David Tennant a lot of the time.
And I think like, and that's why the Ninth Doctor like really like sticks out for me because like the ones which really are defined are the ones which are more like, and that's why maybe like Peter Davison's one I know maybe he's a bit too like kind of like David Tennant in some ways, and it's like
I think I kind of pointed that
they
out.
listen to. Yeah, I mean they even do, whereas like You're My Doctor kind of thing. But like yeah, I think like Colin Baker is just so different to all the other Doctors, like completely like not even close to any others. Probably the closest one is Tom Baker, and that's about it. Like maybe William Hartnell a bit in spikiness, but William Hartnell warmed up pretty quickly, while Colin Baker's pretty still. While he has a big heart, his Doctor, he's still pretty spiky.
Yeah.
In a weird, soft, spiky. It's so hard to kind of really define the Sixth Doctor. It's a shame that we never got that season, the Lost season.
Yeah.
Because I think that would.
Well, I mean, then I've only listened because I got two of the Big Finish renditions of them. I wasn't overly massively impressed with the Nightmare Fair. It's okay, but it's not like oh my goodness, this is like utterly gonna save the show. It kind of felt a bit more of the same. It wasn't really gonna suddenly elevate the show to new heights or anything.
I mean, was it a step up though from the series that came before?
Um, I Again, it's difficult to say about having the full production there, but just on account of the quality of the story itself, again, I just from that story alone, it's about the same. Really, it didn't really feel like a massive upgrade or downgrade. It was just
Had you listened to the Ice Warrior one then? Have you listened to that one? Is that the other one you've got?
Yeah, no, I haven't listened to that one yet. No,
I'd be interested.
I do need to get around to it.
I need to actually get that.
Mission to Magnus, with
Yeah.
Syl.
I think I got the book version actually. I need to read it.
But yeah, no, it's just for me. I probably because I never finished. Of course, yeah. I think Colin Baker out of any of them, I think is probably the one I've watched the least, to be honest. So like, if you told me, I'll think of a Colin Baker moment, I just think of him being crushed by his own face. It's just like.
He's got such a presence. I just wish his costume was different. I like the coat. Like it's got a weird place in my heart, but
I like the blue that the spin-offs.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, I don't know why I don't know. Really weird production decision. It was. You can tell when people do different just because, not because it's got any thought or feeling behind it. Like if you met Colin Baker, you wouldn't go, yeah, let's give him a clown costume. Like you wouldn't. You'd be like, okay, this is a more like a lawyer suit kind of thing. Like I think he wanted basically what Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, well, that's what he was saying. That's kind of what he wanted.
And like that is way more, something like that, or a really sharp suit, kind of David Tennant-esque. Like, I could see him wearing kind of David Tennant's kind of pinstripe suit, something along those lines. And that's the issue. And I think the issue is they saw the costumes and they started writing the episodes to match the costume.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, and it is weird. The costume for the Doctor, actually, when you start to think about it, really does set the tone for the whole series. Like when the Doctor was wearing a hoodie and a t-shirt for the 12th Doctor in series 9, he became this weird playing guitar rock star kind of granddad thing, and the stories kind of started to, I don't know, morph around that. It was very different to what series 8 was trying to do, which was this kind of spiky drama thing with Clara and Danny, and a lot more, I don't know, Doctor being a bit of a dick, and then it kind of then suddenly hoodie t-shirt. Like I missed his costume. I missed the official 8th Doctor first series 8 costume. They kind of got rid of it for some odd reason. I don't know why. I really liked his costume for the piece of Capaldi. But yeah, I guess 7th Doctor.
Oh, I mean, remembrance is the first thing that comes to mind, of course, and like the talking about the history of the Time Lords and the Hand of Omega and stuff with Ace on the stairs. I think is the first thing that kind of pops into my head.
That I would say. I'd also think if we fight like animals, we'll die like animals.
Yeah,
it's a very strong moment as well. Actually no. My answer is Happiness Patrol gun to his face.
Ah, yes, that's really good as well.
That is, and it's amazing. Like that thing came out, back when Doctor Who was not doing so great. Like, what a moment! Like, pull the trigger, end my life.
Mhm.
Go on, then do it. I can't. Why? That's so bloody good.
That just needs to be a meme with like the BBC and Doctor Who just like over the top of it.
Kill me. Why? Can't do it. Can you? Yeah, that would be actually pretty good. 10th Doctor gun meme. But yeah, I guess pretty much. Yeah, like that one is for me. The definitive 7th
Yeah.
Doctor moment, like just staring down a barrel of a gun. I mean, he's probably terrified in that moment. Like, fuck, he might actually kill me. But like to prove a point, sometimes you got to take a risk like that. So yeah, I guess 8th Doctor, Night of the Doctor for me. I guess.
Yeah, if you want to keep it strictly, yeah.
Just, I mean, I haven't listened enough to Big
Yeah.
Finish, but
Neither. I mean, there's some very good stuff that I've listened to, although it's difficult to, again, say any of it, is defining or not. But yeah, Night of the Doctor, definitely.
just the whole thing is fantastic in that. Love him very much. I just wish we'd get more Paul McGann. Just little episode tidbits would be so nice. It'd be nice if they do enough a multi-Doctor story because the Time Law lasted for so long. Like we can have an older McGann and it still works. Like we had him in 2013. Like he looked pretty much the same as he did in 2013. So more makeup, like just put on that makeup and his cool new outfit. He could be in a multi-Doctor story for sure.
Yeah.
And I think with multi-Doctor stories, you might as well just pick and choose which Doctors you want. Like you don't have to have, okay, well we've got 13, so we have to have 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Like maybe just have 8, 11, and 9. Like whatever. Like I wonder if they will do a multi-Doctor story for the 60th.
Maybe. I wouldn't. Maybe. That's all I'll say on it because they might. Yeah. I think it needs to do something at least. Although they do have a tendency to try and buck trends and such. So maybe they'll.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a weird inkling that Chibnall will be like, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the answer he'll give. Like, oh, you gonna do a multi-Doctor story? Nah.
Hmm. Well, he has worked with David Tennant and such before, so I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, not only on Doctor Who but also on Broadchurch. So
Yeah. I mean, he wrote for Matt Smith as well.
he wrote for he did. Yeah.
So.
Who knows? Who knows?
Oh, I hope they do. I like seeing multi-Doctor stories. It's like when the Avengers films come on every now. Like after I've been rewatching Infinity War kind of in chunks, and it's just like I'm just sitting there like, damn, like look at that, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark having a conversation on screen. Like it's just fills me with so much joy. I don't know why. It's like these are just actors playing characters. Like it's just like how they've built the whole universe. Bloody insane. And it's like those little treats, like these Avengers films that every like, what was that? Like Age of Ultron was 2015 maybe, and like that didn't come out. Infinity War was until 2018, so that was like 3.5 years between the two. So it's like it's irregular that it happens. I mean, Doctor Who even less, every decade if it's still on TV. I mean, like Doctor Who had to almost do a decade before the first anniversary that they could celebrate came on, because obviously the 40th didn't really happen. They did, but no multi.
No.
So I
But
mean,
to be fair, if it would have been anywhere close to something like Dimensions in Time, was probably for the best.
yes, that's true. I mean, like it's coming up, the 60th. It is. Do you think they'll do as big a thing, or do you think they'd just do it as a series finale?
I have no idea, to be honest. I really, it's very difficult to sit here and predict exactly what the current writers were going to do. Like we were confident that Moffat would, from the beginning would do, something big for the 50th, right? But
Yeah.
with Chibnall, it's like
It's
it
such
doesn't seem to be any like consistent logic to it all. Like one minute he's throwing the show and doing this like soft reboot and disconnecting everything from like the previous things, just doing new monster stuff. Next minute is just like, yeah, we're going to talk about lore and connect this deeply into the heart of Doctor Who. And it's like, and now we're going to do it in this time slot. It's like, it can't predict this. I don't even know anymore.
It is he's such a wild card, isn't he?
Mm.
In some ways, I like that because it means that we have no idea what we're gonna get. Which in some ways is good. It keeps it makes me very excited for where the fuck are they gonna go next? Like it makes me intrigued. Like I think with Moffat fatigue, it was very much okay. We're probably gonna get the same old, same old. I remember coming up to series 10, we're a bit like it looks promising, but is it just gonna be more of what series 9 was? Hellbent. Because
yeah, but I think there was more optimism there because we had enjoyed like most of that series, despite a few shortcomings here and there. I think that series was solid. We were more like that before the 50th. I think was just like series 6, series 7, part 1 was like, the stories have kind of been mostly kind of mediocre, I guess. It's like
sadly, really, series 7 is probably actually the worst season out of maybe 8 is. I don't know. 7 just has so many duds, sadly.
Yeah.
Like just really bad duds. But you can tell that Moffat was just concentrating his all on the 50th. And the 50th was good, so can't really complain. Like
I guess.
I can sacrifice a bit of a series. But the issue is like if you're heading up to a big celebration you want everyone to watch, you kind of want the run up to be good. But yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. I think maybe they'll definitely do something. Whether it will be they'll delay a series. I mean, like the series is definitely going to be delayed now anyway. I mean, it's taken a year and a half anyway. So what would be a year and a half? So what? Next series should come out mid 2021. Then a year and a half on that. That would then take it to 2023. Autumn. So actually, it would perfectly line up for a multi-doctor. The issue is it will probably be a new doctor.
By then, yeah.
Yeah. Whether Chibnall might leave with Jodie.
It's a possibility, though. Again, who even knows at this point, right?
Yeah. Do you think he would?
It does seem very short for a showrunner. I mean, both Russell T and Moffat at least got like a couple of doctors to them. It'd be odd if a showrunner just got one. But of course, it has been quite divisive and certainly a lot back and forth. So
Figures are doing well though. Viewing figures are still good actually for the show. So
yes, they're declining. I mean, certainly, like you got towards the end of the last series, and it was like,
yeah, was it?
I mean, it started very strong, and throughout like series 11, it was pretty consistently strong. But last series, not so much. It's not far off, I think, where we left it, like in series with Peter Capaldi's last series.
Yes.
We're kind of back at that level, and that wasn't particularly great. So it's still doing better than most shows on TV ish, kind of. Well, it's in the top 20, I think.
It's always. I think it's usually in the top 15, even top 10 for most of the time.
But yeah, it's certainly dropped, and we're like.
The thing is, all of TV's drop. That's the thing. It's like if it's still in the top 10, then surely it's doing something right. So I don't see the show being cancelled. I mean, shows can be cancelled when they're good and bad. So
not anytime soon. No, and it's still got deals in place and stuff.
Possibly, but should it take a rest? Possibly. I think have Jodie, have enough a Doctor, get to the 60th, rest for maybe a couple years. Have the guy who played the Doctor come back for one story, do a regeneration, kick off with kick off with a new series. I think that's how I'd do it if I was gonna stop Doctor Who for a bit. I'd have do enough for Doctor, do the 60th, because I mean, like, the BBC will make a lot of money out of that, because if they push the celebration like they did the 50th, they'll make a lot, because they definitely did a lot during.
I don't think they can, but in terms of
It's
just
about
pushing
marketing. It's all about marketing and pushing it. If you show that, we've got David Tennant coming back, how many people are going to watch that?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying they won't push it as much as they did the 50th, because the 50th was, well, the 50th, the 50 years. That's a big, milestone. 60, not so much. So I don't think they're going to push it quite the same level, regardless, but.
No, probably not as much, but I still think they'll do like a convention thing,
Oh, yeah.
They'll try and push like DVDs, collectibles,
Okay, I was trying to get to that again.
But yeah. Oh yeah, if there is one, will definitely. Got to celebrate that 10-year difference. Escape that awkward teen phase. Celebrate by going to Doctor Who, a very niche sci-fi
We're
convention.
adults.
Adults. But yeah. I think and then rest. Do the 60th. Let that Doctor kind of finish, but don't end with them regenerating, because you wouldn't want a new actor stepping into the role and being like, yeah, we're going to stop it for 5 years. It doesn't work. Have it end a series and just be like, okay, Doctor Who's going to rest for a while now. We're going to, rest it, have a new creative team come in, work on stuff in the background, really make it so that when it comes back, it's big, it's different, do like a one special, like a Christmas special, where the old Doctor returns for one story, kind of like David Tennant did the specials.
Well, I suppose the more obvious one would have been Sylvester McCoy. Like, they end the series without him regenerating, they bring him back and regenerate him for a special, and
exactly. Do that, but don't have the new era start with that Doctor.
Actually, that was kind of a weirdly like that little monologue he gets at the end of Survival as well. Actually, just jump back a little bit. That is quite a defining, kind of memorable little moment, even if it was kind of a very last minute addition to it.
Because it wasn't coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, I wouldn't want, if I was kicking off a new era, I wouldn't want to start with a whole story and then just changing the Doctor, because that ruins the tone. Imagine if we did the End of Time and then next weekend it was Matt Smith's first story. It would feel weird. Like, the good thing about that little break between End of Time Part 2 and like Series 5 is they could put out the new promos and stuff, and it was defined as this is a new era, new logo, stuff like that, and that's how I think they should do it. Like, rest Doctor Who for 5 years, but like 3 years into it, get a creative team and do how they did Series 1. I mean, they started like pre-production 2003, didn't they? Even 2002, it was starting the ball rolling. So it's not going to be on TV for 5 years, but that doesn't mean we're not going to work on it for 5 years. Have time, get a new Doctor, really get a new vision and view, and in 5 years, BBC can save up some money, really push this new thing, new complete, and that's how I do it, because then it'd be fresh, it'd be different. Like, you'd really have to go big. You couldn't be like, oh, it's just enough for revival like 2005. You'd have to do some big shit with it. Really kind of, you couldn't just like pop back and be like, hello, we're back again. I think like you'd have to do something big, kind of, But I would have the original team, do a final story, maybe even like film it like when you filmed the other stuff, but don't air that episode. Keep it until like, just before you're going to kick off a new series. Have that Doctor regenerate in that story, and then have a little break and be like, okay, new series coming. Have it air at Christmas. People are like, whoa, Doctor Who's back after being gone for 4 years, and it's the guy who played it originally, like back before they paused it for a bit, and so people come back, watch that, be like, oh, and now he's regenerated, and now we've got a new era. So it would be like that nice little sewn together, or you could start a new era and then have like a bit of a mystery as to what did happen to the last Doctor. And that could be the story.
That kind of like what they did with Christopher Eccleston and Paul McGann.
But kind of make it a bit more like like, why did the Doctor regenerate? Maybe he actually chose to regenerate because he was running away from something. Like there's a lot of story construct you can do out of that as well. So did the Doctor die saving someone's life, or was the Doctor hiding? Like, what's going on? Maybe have the Doctor be more like a hermit for a bit, and like kind of like what they were trying to do with the snowmen. But imagine if they started this series and the Doctor just lives in a house on a road, and he's just trying to live a normal life, and aliens keep invading Earth, and he's, slowly, a bit like Unit, make it so different. Like, what the fuck? Like, why is the Doctor in a house on a street with a mortgage and trying to do electrical stuff, but is still a Time Lord, hasn't turned himself human or anything. Like, there's so many, different storytelling dynamics. And yeah, maybe people would be like, oh, it's grounded. But also then people would be waiting for the new TARDIS to be revealed and for then the Doctor to finally go back out into space. Like, you could have the first like 4 episodes on Earth or something, and you're just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, and then finally the Doctor's like maybe it could be like his tap breaks again, like for the fifth time in the series. Is like, that's it, and like, throws a strop and then goes off in the TARDIS and bites the new companion, and they're like, go off. Like, there was something in the Snowmen which I really liked. The Doctor just living on the cloud, but there's like story stuff that you could do with a break like that, which would be really cool. And then like in the finale you could show what happened and show the regeneration, because that's what people can see. Also make regeneration look bloody different. That's something that pisses me off. Why does it look the same all the time? Like in the bloody classic era, it was so different every single time, and it was exciting. Like, that's to watch. I like to watch the compilations of all the regenerations because they look so different. Now it's just, gold light, whoa.
Yeah, they kind of said it as like the standard, I guess, in a weird way.
I like that it was different though. I like that, when the David Tennant's one was so explosive, at least because all the radiation he held in, and he was holding it back for so long that he just like fucking exploded. And I like seeing the morphing. So like the last 2 regenerations I've been pretty disappointed by, both Matt Smith to Capaldi, which they definitely filmed on different days, and that's why there's morph. Like, I could just tell. I know that's exactly what happened. Why not show the morph? Even if you do a quick snap, you could show a quick and boom, he's there. I did like that it was quick, that caught you off guard. But like Capaldi to Jodie was just really like just the eyes, and I was like,
Plus, regeneration effect was kind of lame just because of how thin it was. Like, it was a really thin,
and they kind of put it in slow motion, so it was weird. And because like all the sparks were in slow motion, so it just made the effects look weird in slow motion. I don't know. They should have done the effects at full speed and then slowed down the footage, and I think it would look better. But I think they literally did the effects over the slow mode footage, so it looked odd. I don't know, but I don't know. I like seeing the morph. That's something I really enjoy. And I think if I ever did run the show, I would definitely make the regenerations so crazy different every time that it would be you have to see this. This is going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be different every single time. Like, this is this is something that everyone has to watch. I'd go really wacky with shit. I'd have like
this time the Doctor explodes in bubbles.
Well, you could do something like kind of like the Master's regeneration was different actually.
Subtly, yeah.
It was completely different colors, and like he had like the light coming out his like mouth and his eyes, and it was like white with like hue colors, like hue.
It had stripes of green.
Yeah, green as well. And I'm like, so not all Time Lords regenerate. Then it's different per one, and that's like I'd have one where the Doctor looks at his hand and it's a completely different hand. It's like or like something where like it kind of like is burning slowly, like changing, like morphing, like the face like coming around, like
so a little bit like
burning. Like kind of how Ghost changes into the skull and it kind of burns through.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Well, I mean the
cells are changing, and the cells change like outwards, like like how kind of cancer grows and stuff. It
Yeah.
grows outwards. If your new body was like shedding a skin, it's like
Well,
that, isn't it?
the Sylvester McCoy to Paul McGann one, it kind of
Yeah,
is like a
yeah.
yeah, kind of
It's
face
like
morph.
the bone structure's changing, and I really like that one. It's a weird angle that they film it at, but it's got a lot of atmosphere to it. It's like you can feel him like he's shifting and changing, and I feel like make regenerations different. Like everyone knows what to expect. Okay, we're gonna get some yellow light and TARDIS is gonna explode. There we go. It's pretty much it. Like do it different. Don't always have them regenerate in the TARDIS either. Like that's getting a bit old as well.
Yeah, it was more memorable with stuff like the Gopperploys and such.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. It's like, because it's like, okay, then next to the episode, TARDIS is crashing, and I got to find it at the end. Like, let's do something different. Like, have it kick off in the same place. Like, it makes the writing more interesting. What happens if there was an invasion? The Doctor regenerates because he died, and then straight away there's another invasion, same place, same location. Like, it could happen. Something else is going on at the same time. Like when you think about it, the War Machines and the Faceless Ones happened within days of each other.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens. Bad stuff's happening all over the world at the same time. Do that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like people are the writers at the minute. I think what it needs is our generation of Doctor Who watchers to now go in and make it. I think what's happening at the minute is obviously Moffat, Davies, Chibnall all watched the classic era, so their ideas of what Doctor Who should be is based off of what they watched in the classic era. I think now what we need is an era of people who grew up watching this era of Doctor Who and knowing what it needs, because I don't think you can see what each era needs unless you've kind of grown up with it. Like in my thing, like that's why Kevin Feige, he grew up with the comic books, so he knows what comic book lovers want to see. He's also worked on the bad X-Men film, so he saw what didn't work. So he kind of, and that's why like Kevin Feige is the only one who's been able to pull off like a universe. Like people have tried it with the Dark Universe and all that rubbish because they don't understand it. They don't understand the source material, and that's why I think Doctor Who needs a break soon. For its own good, like just to have a new young team of writers come in, people who grew up with the classics, people who grew up with the new Who, and their ideas and I think that would be a lot more. That'll be, but let's segue back.
Yeah.
Doctor, talking about new Who and what we grew up with. Now this is more personal defining, I guess. Ninth Doctor.
I think Dalek.
Dalek with the bit with the gun.
Well, the bit where he shouts at the Dalek.
Yeah. In the
chains. Yeah.
That's a great one for me. It's got to be in Rose where he holds her hand and he talks about feeling the Earth spin at 9,000 miles per hour, and we cling to the surface, and if we let go, that's who I am. One of the best dialogues in Doctor Who for me. Like I remember watching that and getting chills as a kid. I was like, who is like, because that's not an answer. Like it's an answer, but it's not. Like it does let you know who he is without giving you anything at all, and it's beautiful writing, that bit. Like I think it even gave me chills when I read the book. Like and it's because walking around to the TARDIS and he stops and he turns back and he's like, what we were saying about the Earth revolving, and it ties in nicely to what they were talking about earlier about so the whole world revolves around you. And it's like kind of and that was a really nice one shot as they leave the building and yes, fantastic. And for me, that really defines the Doctor. Also the no at the bit where it's like, we're going to kill her, and it's like, no. So I'm gonna come there, and it's like the cliffhanger is basically for the Daleks. Like we're like, what the
Oh
fuck?
yeah,
We don't know, but like the cliffhangers from the Daleks are like, oh fuck,
yeah.
he's stuck.
Of course,
Like, shit,
yeah.
I didn't expect this. Like, have you seen that meme of the old guy? He's like, oh, call an ambulance, and he pulls out a gun. It's like, but not for me. It's like these guys are robbing him, and it's like
Yeah.
it's basically that. It's like the doctor's like, call an ambulance, but not for me. It's like, oh fuck.
The End of the Empty Child is another really.
Everybody lives. Yeah, that's a very good. Yeah, and also like when he remembers to dance. See, it's like those kind of moments, a lot more defiant. Like, yeah,
Or when he fails to pull off the Delta Wave in Party
yeah,
of the Wave as
where
well.
yeah, he decides to. That's quite a short moment, but it's.
That is,
I'd rather die a coward.
but
Than,
it's like it really does kind of finish off the arc which they started with him. Like
so
it
good,
does
yeah.
it.
Well, he started off as someone who ended the time war and pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
He can't do it again. Which really you'd think, oh well, he managed it once, he could do it again. So it really shows a whole finished arc, which is lovely. Yeah. Oh, man. If I could watch that series again, go back and just enjoy it for the first time.
Yeah. If I get amnesia.
Yeah. I just love to go back and experience as a kid though, like going to bed with that like little excited tingle of nerves in me. Yeah. It gave me that much, joy and happiness. It was crazy how like powerful it was to me as a person. But yeah, I guess 10th Doctor, pretty. I really like the End of Time, part 2.
Yeah.
He's talking to Wilf in the cabinet, and he's like, I could do so much more. It's not fair. I mean, it's just so well acted, ridiculous, and it's so powerful. Just like he dies, it's just a red light. They just turn on a red light, and he just collapses in pain. And with the music, it's so bloody powerful. It's not like super cinematic shot. It's just him just crouching down slowly, and it's just awkward to watch because it's like they filmed it like you were there just watching him being unable to do anything. They didn't film it super cinematic with his hand. I mean, they did do a shot of his hand going up against like the glass, but still from the same angle. They kept it very much like you were just having to watch him die. Which is super hard to watch. They didn't make it all cinematic, like shots of his face in pain and stuff. They just like watch him. Motherfuckers, watch this guy that you love. Just watch him crumble in pain from this. Like, so powerful.
I guess you go along with the specials for me. This whole shot of him wandering away from the Mars base, exploding in water on Mars, and then just like turning round and
yeah,
that entire like ending bit right up to the ending where Adeline kills herself. It's like that's
crazy. I think also Family of Blood, that bit, fantastic. Yeah, but yeah, Waters of Mars is like Time Lord victorious.
Yes,
He will obey me. I fought so long and so hard about the laws of time. It's like, fantastic. Oh, it's giving me chills now thinking about it. So good. Like Waters of Mars, maybe the best of New Who. It's a tough spot, that one.
Up there for me. Yeah, Parting of the Ways, Bad Wolf would probably take that for me, and also Well Enough in Time and
Heaven Sent is also
Doctor Falls.
So good.
And that too.
Heaven Sent, fantastic. So glad Moffat took the risk on that one and wrote that episode.
And didn't write it with Weeping Angels like he originally intended to.
Oh, really?
That was a recent revelation because they were doing the live tweetings with the, and that was one of the things he said. It was originally a Weeping Angel chasing him.
I mean, that would have been all right, but the veil was just.
I think it was cooler than you,
Yeah.
better with a new monster rather than just having like.
Yeah, just a.
It would have felt very samey.
Yeah, because Weeping Angel would have caught up instantly as well.
Too.
It's so quick. Like the Doctor wouldn't have been able to run anywhere. He would have just had to constantly stare at the Angel. That's the issue when you make them ridiculously fast. But yeah, I guess 11th Doctor, Pandora's speech.
Yeah.
No,
Possibly.
Rings of Akaten speech. That's mine.
I go with that one. For me, the Pandorica speech, for me, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Rings of Akaten. Well, I know you don't like the story. The speech.
Yeah, but the speech
is
is
really
good. Speech is good.
So good. And it's again, it's like a sacrificial bit. He's like, he goes to basically kill himself potentially just to save these people, save this girl, this young girl. And yeah, I really like that episode. It's a nice little fun. That's like a nice episode too for me. Like if it was the start of a series, first adventure with a companion, not too crazy heavy plot, more like here's an alien planet. It was very like Moss Isley kind of cantina with all the weird aliens and just getting an idea of this alien world. Like Akaten is like the Moss Isley for me. If you went like, what's the most Moss Isley place in Star Wars? I'd say Akaten.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
wish
if you were the whole planet, yeah.
it
Although
just
if you wanted the bar specifically, there was like that little moment in End of Time with like
oh
with Jack.
Jack.
That was like that is straight up Star
Oh yeah. I just what I liked about Rings of Akaten was it really did create a really great world. Like the planet and it's like a place I kind of wish they'd go back to. But I want to know what happens now that they don't have a sun.
Yeah, that was the
The
biggest
rocks
thing.
rotating the sun aren't gonna gravitate around it anymore because there's no mass to keep it there. Like, I kind of wish they'd explained that bit and what happened there. But hey ho.
Where's the light and the heat come from? They'll freeze to
Exactly.
death. Like
If the Doctor, I mean, the Doctor and Time Lords could probably easily quickly make a sun. Like I'm sure the Doctor, like it's just about having a load of hydrogen in a place and the gravitation being so like strong that it ignites. Basically, that's all it is. I'm sure the Doctor could, move a load of. If he can move a whole bloody planet in stolen Earth, I'm sure he can make a sun pretty quickly for them to survive on. But I like that the whole alien was a planet. It was some cool shit. There's some I do enjoy that story, and I find that quite a defining moment. That speech. Also, his final speech in the 50th anniversary. Do you dream? Going home the long way round. That was a really, and with the 11th Doctor's theme as he comes out, it's like da 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 da, da like staring up at Gallifrey. Really, really nice moment. Yeah, very, very nice. So yeah, 12th Doctor.
I think the one that obviously comes to mind is Zygon there's a speech.
That one, the war speech.
Yeah.
I would go with actually though, the kindness speech to the masters in Doctor Falls. That is the one I like to go back and watch out of all of them. Because it's just slightly shorter and I think it's to the point better. Like the War Doctor's the war speech is great, but it kind of goes on quite a while. But I think it needed to. But it's like 10 minutes if you want to watch that clip of the Doctor going on, which is amazing that you managed to, carry that speech so bloody well for 10 minutes. That speech. But yeah, the kindness speech, and like just what he says is so true. It's about doing the right thing without people seeing what you're going to do. It's not about, because people do, grand gestures sometimes, but they do it just to post on social media and stuff. And I think it's quite real kindness, real caring means you'll do it without trying to get the pat on the back. That's real kindness and goodness.
Yeah.
Without reward, it's like without something, without reward, without like sight, without people seeing. I can't remember exactly what he says, but yeah, that whole bit in the Doctor Falls is great. He's literally no one's seeing him fight those Cybermen. There, he's literally on this level of this spaceship alone, blowing up Cybermen, imminent death. Like there's no way he's bloody escaping that one, which I loved as well. Like you're like, fuck, he's dead, man. And he does die. He doesn't miraculously somehow get out there. He literally explodes himself. Crazy. So good. And yeah, that speech to the Masters is just fantastic. It's like, I don't do this to win. I don't do this to beat someone or to hurt someone or to, I do it because it's right. it's decent, and above all, it's kind. It's just that, just kind.
Yeah, it's
Help
great.
people. Maybe we can help. Maybe not for long, but it's the best I can do. It's fantastic, and I think that will. And I think it's a shame that he didn't regenerate in that story like they planned.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that would have been on par with then Bad Wolf parting of our ways.
Yeah.
Sadly, twice enough. Like I think he just needed to die at the end of that story.
Yeah, agreed.
And for Twice Upon a Time, just not really happened.
Just not to have happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it would have been as powerful as then Bad Wolf parting of our ways.
Plus, it would have meant we didn't have a bad story after.
potentially would have. Yeah, it literally does, like Twice Upon a Time sadly taints, and it just needed the death. It needed his death in that story to die there.
I mean, you could probably just edit it, just cut it off at the point where it's like going and then just cut to the end of them Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it's part of history now. But there we go. I like the idea of Twice Upon a Time. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a fantastic idea.
It was execution.
Its execution was wrong. Sadly, it was just an hour of nothingness. Really, that's the issue. And you can tell, like, really, the 12th Doctor should have died when Doctor falls. It's fantastic. It would have been equal with Bad Wolf and Parting of Ways. I think that story.
I think for me it's very, very, very close. Like in terms of how I personally rank it, it comes like near neck and neck.
It's like, I think if the 12th Doctor had regenerated, it would have been equal, and probably one of the best regeneration stories in Who history. Sadly not. But yeah, fantastic piece of work. And then I guess Jodie, what would you say is the most defining so far? Her speech is quite good on the top about change, talking to Tim Shaw on top of a crane in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. That's a decent speech.
I don't really remember it.
I like change. People can change. People can do the most amazing things and change their mind. She's trying to get him to change his mind, and then she tricks him really well. Like, I do like The Woman Who Fell to Earth is solid television. Like, it is a good story. I enjoy the way the Doctor tricks. I was hoping for a bit more of a trickster after the way she tricked him. Sure, but...
Yeah.
The bit with the frog, actually, that's a decent exchange. But yeah. Benny.
God, this is hard because
there's not really been that.
Nothing really stands out to me. Really, like.
There's been standout moments, but not like a standout 13th Doctor.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a bit where she's talking about love when she marries Yaz's grandparents. That's quite a nice bit where the Doctor's kind of doing the marriage, talking about love. But again, it's a very kind of solemn speech rather than anything powerful, and in the face of death. I still think we're waiting for that defining 13th Doctor moment. I think the great moment, which isn't spoken, is when she kind of looked at burning Gallifrey. She acted that moment really, really well when she opens the horror on her face was fantastic. Actually, no, defining moment is when she's talking to the Master on top of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
I'd say that was actually a really strong bit. Or in the room, anything opposite the Master, actually, I'd say is a very good.
Yeah.
Especially actually the bit where she pushes him over in the Timeless Children, while episode like against Sacha Dhawan, she is fantastic actually. I think she's a Doctor who very much needs a master to appear. Like, Matt Smith didn't need a master character. I think it's fine without that, but I think Jodie really needs that best friend enemy character there.
Mm.
Yeah, but I still think we're waiting for that really defining moment. But you know, I think Against the Master so far has been the best defining moment. Yeah, there we go. That's our ranking of that. There we go. Did a bit of a skew-if to the 60th anniversary there, but hey,
Yeah.
Well,
when do we ever keep
years
on
away.
topic?
3 years away. It's coming.
It is. It's
I
weird
just
to say that, but
freaks me out that has it really only been 7 years since the 50th? Like, fuck me. I think the thing that's helped actually really kind of accelerate time is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thinking about it, like that's really that's what I've kind of concentrated on very much for like the last it was about 2013 because that's when Iron Man 3 came out. That's when I kind of discovered the cinematic universe because at that point I kind of didn't even know it was really existing.
I jumped on with the Avengers. It's like, but I didn't really jump on. I watched the Avengers, then I watched Incredible Hulk somewhere in there, then I watched Winter Soldier, and then from about there I'd kind of mostly keep up with it.
Yeah,
it's like
I was. It was like a friend's birthday, and annoyingly it got late because my dad was like, it's fine, getting to Guildford, got stuck on the road to Guildford, which was annoying. So I came in like kind of half. I think I came in quite late to the film, which was frustrating. But I thought it was fucking sick from what I saw. I was like, this is banging. Like, I enjoyed the end fight scene. I had no idea what was really going on because I missed. Obviously, one, I had no idea who Iron Man was, and the rest, I was like, what the fuck's going on? But it was a birthday, so I was like, sure, I'll come, of course. And I was like, fuck, this was sick. So then my dad worked at a place back then where you could kind of hire out DVDs. I found out about the Cinematic Universe. I was like, okay, get me Iron Man 1, 2, Incredible Hulk, 4, Captain America, and the Avengers on DVD. And he got me like Iron Man 2 to start with, or Incredible Hulk. Then he just got me 4, Captain America, and Avengers all at once. I was like, this is fucking sick. So I remember I watched Avengers in the evening, blown fucking away. Like I was like, this is the sickest shit. Like what the fuck? How have I missed this? I watched it. I literally went to bed so happy. I woke up the next morning. I was like, I'm gonna watch it again. Like 12 hours hadn't even passed, and I watched it twice. Just I love it was something.
It'd be later where I really got into it because like I watched a fair amount of Phase 2, but that was mainly because a lot of people like oh come on
come to cinema. So yeah, we didn't really because I missed then Guardians and Winter Soldier in the cinema. I wanted to go see Winter Soldier on my birthday. My family were like, we have no idea what's going to be going on in this film. Nah. So I was like, fine. So I missed that. I think I watched it online. And Guardians I didn't watch until I think I watched that one online as well. Way after though. I know I missed like the first flow of it.
No, I'd only really get into it like about Phase 3.
Saw Dark World actually. Annoyingly, that was the first Marvel film I saw the whole way through in the cinema. I took my I was like, it's all right. The other films are better. Like even at I was like, wasn't as good. But I remember it's because Christopher Eccleston was in it as well. So I was like, I got to see this. I got to see this in cinema. Annoyingly, they wasted Christopher Eccleston as an acting talent. So goddamn much. Like he would be so good as enough a villain. Like I think he would have been a great like Vulture, like Christian Toombs. I think like that he would have been great. I think he could have really done well in that role. Or like Ego, the Living Planet. I could see Christopher Eccleston doing something interesting with that. Being this kind of god creature. It's a shame that they fucking the one time he does anything superhero, it's like the worst bloody villain. But yeah, so then I kind of the first one that I saw in cinema was Age of Ultron. I was like, I'm seeing this in cinema. And then we went to see it, I think.
Yeah.
And then we had those annoying fucking kids in the bloody front row. I couldn't believe it. How did they get we struggled getting tickets was tough for that. I think it was 4 of us and we had to get the seats split, didn't we anyway? So it was me and you sat inside and then others sat elsewhere. And yeah. Are those I couldn't believe it. Why were kids talking? It was like the premiere day as well. It came out
Yeah.
that day. And why were they there? Like they didn't care. They didn't give two shits. I was like, it was weird to me. I didn't get it.
Parents, I guess, thought they might. I don't know.
It's strange, so strange. But yeah. So annoyingly, they shout on it. I can't remember what point they left, but once they left, we're like, yes. Thank God. Because the guy told them to shut down, shut
Oh
up.
yeah,
I was like,
that's
but yeah. And then I missed Ant-Man, but then from Civil War onwards, I've seen them all in cinema. All of Phase 3 basically I saw in cinema. Even Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I had to grab kind of towards the end of its run. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go see it by myself.
yeah. I didn't see that in cinemas, but I saw practically all the others. Yeah, all the others. All the others.
I saw when did I see it? Midnight. I've seen it. I saw Infinity War at midnight. That was the first one.
Yeah, I saw both Infinity War and then we both saw Infinity War and Endgame.
At midnight. Sadly, not together. But
no,
I was down in Bournemouth. But yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, watching those, like knowing you were the first to watch it. I remember like having to like kind of not like mentally slap myself, but like fucking concentrate. Like, this is the real shit. This is I'm actually seeing it right now. Like this is the new movie. I'm actually seeing it. Like it was so. It's because like everything you're trying to take everything in because you're like this is it. This is the real thing. This is speculations. You know, this is the lore. This is canon.
Here we go.
Every second is canon. It's like oh my god. You know, like watching that portal scene for the first time is, you know, in some ways. Have you seen those American reactions? Like American cinema reactions. Have you seen those?
Yeah, a few of those. Yeah.
They get crazy excited, don't they?
Yeah.
They're like cheering and whooping. And part of me is like, I kind of wish I was there because I definitely would be like, yeah.
I think, yeah. My dad saw it in India. I think because he was on a work trip, and he said that was like that there too. It was like really like a, like a
People cheer.
excitable, cheery. I mean, you got bits and pieces, but like you get people laughing, and you'd get like gasps and stuff. But you won't certainly not like a woo, yeah, let's go, woo! That sort of reaction to it all.
Because
Well, actually, there was one family that kind of. I think this was during Infinity War, but it was just like one family that just screamed every time like Black Panther was on screen. It was just like
it's cool because sadly there's not really much in that Avengers film. I hope in like the next Avengers film, whenever and whatever that is, Black Panther has a bit more of a role in it. Same with Spider-Man. Depending, because I mean they've got him on the contract now for one other Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Do you think
I think the current room is Avengers 5 he'll be in that.
Yeah, because I think that's what they'd save it for.
Yeah.
Because he need to appear in another film. Like
The very early speculation was like, oh, he's going to do a crossover movie with Captain Marvel. It's
I
like
think that was just people trying to spread shit. From what I discovered, it was rumors from absolute like might as well go to a sewer and pick up a big pile of shit because it was just crap. Yeah, it was just people trying to steal shit that people don't really like Captain Marvel, blah blah blah. You know, like yeah, the story wasn't the great, you know, but it was fine. I mean, like same with like the other superhero introduction stories. They're never going to be their strongest story. I can tell you right now.
Iron Man.
Okay, yeah, I'm still, but that's kind of a different starting off a universe. But it's like it was like Doctor Strange being like an origin story after we've had all these like sequels and everything, and it's like having Doctor Strange is then like we just literally before it had like Avengers 2.5 with Civil War. Then we went back to an origin story, which was a lot more smaller and contained.
Yeah, well, it didn't bug me so much in Doctor Strange's case, to be honest.
I can tell you like straight up that like Doctor Strange 2 is going to be far better than the first Doctor Strange.
Well, Sam Raimi being on it alone is
yeah, I think like even if it was Scott Derrickson, there's
Scott
we know
Derrickson's
character now. We know the world, and you can always expand so much further. So it's like with all these kind of new films like Eternals and Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, or Chi, whichever way you want to say it. But I'm not gonna go into them expecting too much because they are origin stories, which are never going to be as strong. But I'm going to be so interested how they bring like Shang-Chi into maybe an Avengers film, like just this martial artist. It's really cool. Like that excites me. Like all these people, different varying abilities of superpowers. You know, like that's what I like. You know, like how varied they are, because that is how it is in reality. You know, like not everyone would be. You know, Thor is OP, so is Captain Marvel. The Eternals are going to be OP as fuck. You know, but I'm gonna enjoy. But what the point is Spider-Man, who's not on their levels of powers, I enjoy seeing him fighting alongside them, because even though he's more at risk fighting these big forces, you know, and that's what I like to see, because he's still doing what he has to do because it's right, and that's why like I connect more with like the heroes who are more worried, not worried, weaker and not as strong, even though they're stronger than all of us. Like they're more at risk than say Thor or anyone else. It's like Peter Quill is literally basically a human, like because his god powers have gone now.
Now he is.
But he's literally a human from Missouri, you know, like fucking hell, and he saved the galaxy, and you know, he's got some alien weapons, but that's it. He's still just as flawed as any of us. But he's fighting again with Thor, and you know, it's cool, and that's it's like those are the guys I kind of like connect to more. But yeah, and that's what I think they should do in Doctor Who. Make the Doctor
buy it back.
Back, just you know, this is a new podcast. But I think we're gonna have to end it there for this week. But comment below if you're at this point in the video what your definitive moments are for each Doctor. Do you agree? Do you not agree? What do you think of a Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let's just throw that in there. Sideball, curveball, throw one at us. We'll be interested to hear all of it.
Over when?
Do you think there should be a Breaking Doctor Who? Do you agree?
I think doesn't Marvel do the current Doctor Who comics? They did at some point. I don't know if they currently do.
I don't know.
Because I know IDW did, and then I think there was actually a comic Star Trek crossover, I think.
Yeah, with Doctor Who and Star Trek crossover, which works. Like you could fit those in the same universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, kind of. Maybe
show up.
Yeah.
I think they should do an episode where they have like a bootleg Star Trek. Like, wouldn't that be kind of funny? But
Planet Walk.
Yeah, and it's like a Stock instead of Spock. He just like salutes like this instead.
So practically what they did with Superman in
or just do what was it, Galaxy Quest or something with the Alan Rickman, where they're like TV show stars. It's like a basically Star Trek ripoff. Have you seen that? Galaxy, good film.
Haven't, no.
But yeah, anyway, we're going off. Right, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. It's been a long one. Boy.